What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Raid Shadow Legends here today. As you guys know, we play a ton of gacha games, a lot of idle, AFK, mobile type games, RPG games, and Raid Shadow Legends is the one that we come back to all the time. A lot of people see it as probably the biggest blockbuster game kind of out there because there's been tons of advertisements and things like that. But we always come back to it, and I continue playing it because the quality of the overall game just feels so good. The graphics are amazing, and one thing that I really enjoy the most is the sheer number of heroes, promo codes, and all that tons of stuff that we get to see. So if you guys haven't checked out Raid Shadow Legends, first things first, there's probably a QR code right up there. There's a link in the description as well to get you guys downloading the game. If you guys want to help support the channel, definitely take a minute, get your characters up to like level 12 and such. There are going to be some bonuses I'm going to show you guys here today. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Let's get right into some Raid Shadow Legends. So if you guys haven't stopped by some of our live streams, you might not have actually seen us playing Raid Shadow Legends in the past. You might not have ever seen what gameplay actually looks like in this game, and we're going to go over that here today. Now, first and foremost, I want to reiterate on the thing that I love the most about this game is the actual look and feel of it. A lot like our game Idle Heroes that we play. Raid Shadow Legends, you build wide, and there are a ridiculous number of hero options that are in the game. Unlike a lot of games that just have like 4 to 6 different factions, this one has a ton, and each one you can see has a lot of heroes in it. Some of these are really cool. I personally really like the demon spawn and such, but you can see the one thing they really don't skimp out on is the look of heroes in this game. They just look absolutely amazing. It doesn't matter what faction you're in. It kind of has something for every taste out there, whether you like more the ogre brute style look, you like the high elves or something along those lines that look very pristine and majestic. There are a ton of options out there for you, so don't discount the look of this game. It looks absolutely amazing. Now, because of the sheer number of heroes that are in this game, strategy and, planning ahead plays a really big role, because not only are there a ton of heroes, there are a ton of different game modes, as basic as the campaign that you guys are used to seeing in different modes, dungeons, which are like boss battles, faction wars, arena, if you're a PvP fan, which they have probably one of the coolest PvP systems I've seen in a mobile game, because, well, they literally have a live arena where you're going up against someone head to head that's actually online at the same time as you and get to control their units. That's pretty rare to see in games, because typically you're just going up against the AI version of someone's team. Live arena is probably one of the most hyped game modes, and I absolutely love it. But beyond even that, there are other bosses, there's a tower progression, and they have one of the newest game modes, Curse City, which is insane, but with being insane comes with insane rewards. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, how long does it actually take to play this game? Well, the fun thing about Raid is you can play it as much or as little as you want. There's just so much to do, but isn't necessarily required, because at the end of the day, it is an idle game. You will generate idle resources as you kind of wait and AFK, and it's kind of nice to see, especially when you do get things like your gem mine leveled up, and that is going to give you daily gems, and gems are going to be really important. You of course have your daily quest system and such that you're used to, weekly, monthly, and advanced. There's a ton of different ones, but honestly, getting your core dailies done takes little to no time, which, as you guys know, that's one of my biggest pet peeves in the game, when I have to spend hours upon hours just to do the requirements. What I'd rather do is have the required amount of time be very little, and then if you want to spend more time advancing your team, tweaking your team, looking up strategies, you can definitely do that in Raid Shadow Legends, because like I said, you can even see our hero list that we currently have. There are so many options, and picking the right team composition is going to. Now, if you've never seen the combat in Raid Shadow Legends, it is a very unique setup. You might have seen something similar in other games, because, well, a lot of other games copy what Raid Shadow Legends does, but I'm going to show you guys what our team composition looks like here and how the battles progress. So first and foremost, whether you are a full auto player, if there's a button right behind my face here that's for full auto, where you don't have to click any buttons, that is something you can do. However, sometimes manually clicking and picking your skills is gonna be a better option because, well, let's be honest, sometimes AI doesn't necessarily play as optimally as a human brain would, and sometimes it's just better to do it yourself. Now, as you guys notice here, there are multiple lineups that you have to go through in each one of these battles here. You can see some of our heroes buff our heroes, other ones deal damage to enemies, but you can see we're on round 2 of 3. Now, typically what happens here is you're going through these battles. The first 2 waves are kind of like the fodder that you're going to be facing, but again, even at that, the enemies do look really cool. There are beast enemies, there are humanoid enemies, there's a ton of different enemies throughout here, and then you get to the 3rd battle. This is kind of like the quote-unquote boss wave. This is usually the most difficult of the 3 waves that you will see. And then you can see here we're going to start picking apart the enemies. Sometimes the 3rd lineup does have a boss. It really just depends on what game mode you're focusing on. And the cool thing it also does is it tells you who your allies have advantage against. You can see the ones with the green arrows above their head. That means we have like a bonus damage. If you see yellow, it's kind of like you're just like, you're not having an advantage, you're not at disadvantage. And then of course red is a disadvantage. So you can see very easily what the battlefield looks like and who are the better targets for each hero to attack and who the worst ones are. So as you guys can see, campaign is really fun because there are a ton of different game modes to go through, and as you guys can see, there's a ton of stuff to grind out, which is really cool. Now, one of the important systems in this game is the clan system here. So you want to either join one or create one yourself. This is going to let you unlock a bunch of different game modes. And as you guys see, there are tons of ones that you can apply to join. Some of them are simply a click to join because they have open rankings. But there are really cool things because there's a check-in system for here. And what I really like is there is a clan boss that you can go up against as well. These bosses are really fun to fight against. And you can kind of see what your allies use for team compositions to go up against them. And of course, there are different difficulty levels of this boss too. There are daily attempts and everything, but doing and joining a clan is very important. It's one of the most kind of important things you can do on your account to make sure you get some good progress. There's clan league, and most importantly, there's a clan shop. And this is why joining the clan is very important very early on. So make sure you do that immediately. Now, there's something I want to talk about that a lot of you guys probably have. Have you guys heard of Twitch Prime? Most likely you have. One really cool thing is there are Prime drops in this game almost all the time. You can see the date ranges for previous ones, so there's almost always something to get. You can claim it very easily. It tells you what is available, which is really awesome. Beyond that, there are a ton of promo codes. One of them is my Twitch Prime drop that I need to claim. So that is getting special resources and a ton of fun stuff. There are also, of course, free things you can get every single day just by going to the shops. You don't really have to spend a thing, because let's be honest, in these games, there are plenty of what we call whales and megalodons that play games like this. But one thing I've noticed is this is one of those games where even playing free to play, if you set your own goals, you can have a blast. And honestly, you can even be competitive because there's quite a large population in Raid Shadow Legends that plays completely free to play that are in the end game and can have fun with that as well. Now, one thing you guys can get completely free just by using the link in the description or the QR code in the top corner is going to be the boss killer Juliana. She's going to be one that you guys can unlock immediately. She is an epic hero, so this is a good way to start out your account on a good footing here. Really cool looking hero, kind of reminds me of like a Joan of Arc or something like that, but yeah, very strong. And boosts her turn meter, increases her critical rate, which is really cool. Has the HP burn and such like that, remove buffs from the target, which is really nice for certain things. And of course is one of the leaders, so you can have an aura that increases your allies crit rate in arena battle. So really awesome, and this is something you get just by using the links in the description down below. Now, what would a game be without an awesome portal system, aka a summoning system? So there are a bunch of different ones that you can go for. Honestly, most people should try to focus on things like void shards and ancient shards. Going for some of these other ones are a little more premium. Sacred shards are always awesome because you have a higher chance of getting good heroes. But I will say, one thing I really enjoy about this game is the summoning animations. I mean, you guys know me. I'm all about gacha. I'm all about the randomness of who I'm gonna get. And like I said, there are some enemies or allies even that are beast type creatures. They're not all going to be humanoid and such, but you guys can see here the summoning animations are really cool. It's what I love the most, and this is where you're going to help power up your account. And of course, last but certainly not least, man, it's the idling that I love the most. Just by jumping in the game for a certain amount of time every single day, you can even just leave the game open on your PC, because yes, there is a PC client beyond just an Android, Apple, or whatever device you have here. You even get VIP points from this system as well. All you got to do is log in and you get these really awesome rewards. Of course, you definitely want to go through, do your daily missions and such, do your quest systems, do all those things to get as much XP and resources as possible. But again, it's an idle game at the end of the day. Really easy to grind out resources. There are a ton of different game modes to touch on as well. Me personally though, I want to show you guys one of the dungeon battles before we get out of here, because these are a ton of fun. These are one of my most enjoyed game modes we've had in a while. Now, we've kind of pushed progression already in a bunch of these, so I don't know if we're going to be able to make too much, but this is a perfect example right here of what I call a boss wave. So still, even though you're going up against a boss, you're still going to be fighting a bunch of waves here. So you're still going to go through a lot of enemy waves here, but then you're going to end on a boss that we're going to show you guys right here. We're gonna go ahead and buff up our squad here, make sure we don't take too much damage for the boss wave, because that would be really bad. We want to try to go in the boss wave as healthy and happy as possible. So let's get all those things on cooldown, and then you'll notice here, this is the boss wave. So some boss waves do come with minions as well, and you can see they have a much bigger HP bar than the average enemy. So just jumping in here, trying to do as much damage as possible is going to be our goal. We'll let some of our AoE kind of take care of the secondary minions here. They do a lot of damage, and like I said, I don't know necessarily if we're going to beat this one, because, well, I have been pushing the progression. They do have a freeze effect on this boss, and each boss has a very unique skill set. So building a team specific for certain bosses that you want to target farm is kind of important, but I think we might be able to get this taken care of. Let's see what happens. Like I said, if you want, you can click the auto button, take your hands off the keyboard, off your phone, whatever you want to do, and go to town. But as you guys see, auto is not necessarily always the best thing, because it might attack a target you don't really want to go after. Me personally, I know my Archbishop here is going to have a lot of good AoE damage, so there's no point single targeting the other minions necessarily. We kind of want to focus more on the boss. Granted, if we do take out the minions, we're going to be taking less damage, but we do have shielding, we do have healing, all that fun stuff. So they do have healing reduction though, which is a pain in the butt. But as you guys can see, strategy definitely plays a big role, especially when you want to target farm specific bosses. And last but certainly not least, again, the one thing I do want to talk about, it has a new rotation too. The one thing about this game, it just has so many new game modes and features and heroes coming out all the time. There's always something to do, and Cursed City is one of those things. Now me, I'm still on like a very early game account, so you're not going to immediately jump into something like Cursed City. However, there are multiple different difficulties as you power up your account, and as you guys see, there is a lot to do in this Cursed City, ultimately with a boss at the end. So definitely check out this game mode. It is the new hotness. People love it. Definitely check it out. So let me know what you guys think. If you want to come by some of our live streams, sometimes we will be playing Raid Shadow Legends here in there as well. I play it on my kind of like a daily basis every once in a while as well. And again, if you guys want to, make sure you guys use the description link down below. That's going to get you guys signed up. It's going to help you support Barry Gaming as well if it's something you like to do. And hey, you get to try an awesome new game. Also, QR code up the corner right there. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys next time.